Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Friday Night Scripture Reading. Been working our way through the book of Ezekiel. Let's go ahead and pick it up. Reading out of the LSB. Chapter 8. Ezekiel chapter 8. Now it happened in the 6th year, on the 5th day of the 6th month, as I was sitting in my house with the elders of Judah sitting before me, that the hand of the Lord Yahweh fell on me there. Then I looked, and behold, a likeness as the appearance of one on fire. From his loins and downward there was the appearance of fire, and from his loins and upward the appearance of brightness, like the gleam of glowing metal. He sent forth the form of a hand and took me by a lock of my head, and the Spirit lifted me up between earth and heaven and brought me in the visions of God to Jerusalem, to the entrance of the north gate of the inner court, where the seat of the figure of jealousy, which provokes to jealousy, was located. And behold, the glory of the God of Israel was there, like the appearance which I saw in the plain. Then he said to me, Son of man, raise your eyes now toward the north. So I raised my eyes toward the north, and behold, to the north of the altar gate was this figure of jealousy at the entrance. And he said to me, Son of man, are you seeing what they are doing, the great abominations which the house of Israel is doing here, so that I would be far from my sanctuary? But yet you will see still greater abominations. Then he brought me to the entrance of the court, and when I looked, behold, a hole in the wall. He said to me, Son of man, now dig through the wall. So I dug through the wall, and behold, an entrance. And he said to me, Go in and see the evil abominations that they are doing here. So I entered and looked, and behold, every form of creeping thing and beasts and detestable things, with all the idols of the house of Israel, were carved on the wall all around. Standing in front of them were 70 elders of the house of Israel, with Jaazaniah, the son of Shaphan, standing among them, each man with his censer in his hand and the fragrance of the cloud of incense rising. Then he said to me, Son of man, do you see what the elders of the house of Israel are doing in the dark, each man in the room of his carved images? For they say, Yahweh does not see us. It is a late edition of Friday Night Scripture Reading. They say, Yahweh does not see us. Yahweh has forsaken the land. And he said to me, Yet you will see still greater abominations which they are doing. Then he brought me to the entrance of the gate of the house of Yahweh, which was toward the north, and behold, women were sitting there weeping for Tammuz. He said to me, Do you see this, Son of man? Yet you will see still greater abominations than these. Then he brought me into the inner court of the house of Yahweh, and behold, at the entrance to the temple of Yahweh, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men, with their backs to the temple of Yahweh, and their faces toward the east, and they were prostrating themselves eastward toward the sun. He said to me, Do you see this, Son of man? Is it too light a thing for the house of Judah to do the abominations which they have done here? That they have filled the land with violence, and provoked me to anger still more. For behold, they are sending forth the twig to their nose. Therefore, I also will do this in wrath. My eye will have no pity, nor will I spare, and they will cry in my ears with a loud voice, yet I will not listen to them. Ezekiel chapter 9. Then he cried out in my hearing with a loud voice, saying, Draw near, O executioners of the city, each with his destroying weapon in his hand. And behold, 6 men were coming from the direction of the upper gate, which faces north, each with his shattering weapon in his hand. And among them was a certain man clothed in linen, with a scribe's case at his loins. And they went in and stood beside the bronze altar. Then the glory of God, of the God of Israel, went up from the cherub on which it had been, to the threshold of the house of Yahweh, and he called to the man clothed in linen, at whose loins was the scribe's case. Yahweh said to him, Go through the midst of the city, even through the midst of Jerusalem, and put a mark on the foreheads of the men who sigh and groan over all the abominations which are being done in its midst. But to the others he said in my hearing, Go through the city after him and strike. Do not let your eye have pity, and do not spare. Kill to utter destruction old men. Choose men, virgins, little ones, and women. But do not touch any man on whom is the mark, and you shall start from my sanctuary. So they started with the elders who were before the house. And he said to them, Defile the house and fill the courts with the slain. Go out. Thus they went out and struck down the people in the city. Now it happened, as they were striking the people, and I alone remained, that I fell on my face and cried out and said, Alas, Lord Yahweh, are you destroying the whole remnant of Israel by pouring out your wrath on Jerusalem? Then he said to me, The iniquity of the house of Israel and Judah is very, very great, and the land is filled with bloodshed, and the city is full of perversion. For they say, Yahweh has forsaken the land, and Yahweh does not see. But as for me, my eye will have no pity, nor will I spare, but I will put their way upon their head. Then behold, the man clothed in linen, at whose loins was the scribe's case, responded with a word, saying, I have done just as you have commanded me. And since it's late and I'm sleepy, we'll stop after 2 chapters. Y'all have a great weekend. If the Lord wills it, we'll see you Sunday morning. Sunday school is at 10 a.m., corporate worship 11 a.m., evening worship 6 p.m. Have a great weekend. Goodbye.